Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to tell you the 4 best supports for Season 8.5 of Marvel Rivals, and you're going to go out there and use these heroes and get the most amount of wins you've done in any other season. Do we have a deal? Well, now that we're on the same page, let's run through what are the best supports, but I do just want to quickly talk about the current state of the support meta at the moment, because we've got some significant changes. Cloak and Dagger got better splash heals. Adam Warlock did get more healing output in every cluster he lands. And we also got a change to White Fox's Fox Throw, where the hitbox is made slightly smaller now on that to get the maximum possible value. And then the major one that we're all discussing is Gambit's ultimate being nerfed again. Slowly, Gambit's ultimate is becoming into a more weaker ultimate, and now I think it's in a good spot, right? I don't think it's absolutely broken by any means. I don't think he needs to be insta-banned anymore. And I do think his ultimate's in a good spot where if you do catch every one of your teammates, which is not always, by the way, he's actually in a decent spot to combo with damage ults. But I do think there's a slightly better option than this, and that is the honorable mention for this video, and that is Mantis. Mantis provides damage buffs frequently with her base kit, and you can do it more often and more regularly, and that is a much more controlled way of giving a damage boost than Gambit's ultimate, which takes far too long to build up ultimate charge for now as well, might I add. So overall, I do think when you're wanting to play that triple support, Mantis is the better choice. But also, if you're wanting to damage boost your team, I think Mantis is the best choice for Season 8.5, because not only that, Ultron also got nerfed with his firewall, and I think that was the significant change for triple support in my opinion, where Mantis now fits that slot the best, right? And then not only that, she provides that movement boost. So overall, all in all, the boost that Mantis gets right now is insane. That is why Mantis is definitely an honorable mention. I think she's one of the best supports in the game right now, and especially in higher elo, she's going to be super strong. Let's start off with the single most broken support in this game right now, and that is Luna Snow. Luna Snow is not only the best support in this game, but also tied for best DPS in this game as well, by the way. Now, if you didn't know, Cyclops, which is the new hero coming out, is a 2-shot to the head and like a 4-shot to the body to try and kill someone with a hit scan primary attack. Now, obviously, he does have other abilities like the one that ricochets through enemies, but for his primary fire, Luna Snow matches that damage output. That is how insane Luna Snow is, and also not to mention she's hit scan. Now, not to mention you can also damage boost yourself. You can also snowflake teammates and heal them up at the same time. You can also use the freeze to freeze divers or just enemies in general, and also you can use her claps, which give her even more insane damage output because it pierces through enemies. All of this, and then you combine the fact that Luna Snow's ultimate right now, not only does it provide damage boost as well, by the way, which I think is going to be one of the more strongest and pivotal parts of this season, especially to a Cyclops ultimate if you have one on your team. But in general, she survives through Cyclops ultimate damage as well with the healing part of her ultimate. So overall, Luna Snow is like one of the best heroes, definitely S tier. The only drawback to Luna is healing up divers, but if you put your snowflake on the diving teammate and then heal up your tank, and because we're likely to have a solo tank season this season, because all the tanks are pretty bad now, especially with Dino getting nerfed on top of that, you need to heal up your tank a lot. And the only thing you need to do is make sure you hit your shots, right? So as long as you practice your aim with Luna Snow, she is hands down the best support in this game this season, and this is not even a question. This is just the fact that Luna Snow is absolutely busted. Now, I was expecting to see some kind of nerfs to Luna within the patch notes that we got, but Luna never got any changes, and she's back to being just as good as she was in seasons 1 and 2 and those early days of Marvel Rivals. So let's flip the scales now, and we'll talk about a slightly easier hero to play, and that is Rocket Raccoon. Rocket Raccoon is definitely either second or third place in best supports in this game, because not only is he super easy to play, he counters dive very easily just by his movement alone, which I think makes him really strong. They gave him an extra 2 orbs of healing, and they also gave him better damage output, and this means he's an absolute tank shredder, which is really good to have on your team, especially if the enemy team is running a Dino or a Thing or any non-shield tank. But even if you want to use Raccoon to burst down shield tanks, He's very, very good in that role as well. And his gun just deletes people, man, if you know how to use it correctly. But the strongest part of Rocket Raccoon's kit right now, also, he's got his BRB, by the way, which reses teammates, which is also pretty strong. And that used to be the strongest part of his kit. But his ultimate now is the strongest part of his kit by far. Now, the reason why his ultimate is so strong is because it serves a slightly different purpose to the current support ultimates of this game. Now, 90% of the support ults in this game, you want to pop them second to the enemy team support ultimate. Whereas Rocket Raccoon, because of his ult cycles now, is ultimate where you want to pop it first to win the team fight, and it also gives you overshield, which survives through a Cyclops ultimate, by the way. I do want to throw that out there. But also it gives you the damage buff, right? The damage buff that allows you to get full team wipes on the enemy team. Very, very strong ultimate, but like I said, it's not just the ultimate itself that's very strong, it's the cycles in which you get it. The fact that he's got 2 more orbs, the fact that he does a little bit more damage means he gets his ultimate super, super fast if you are dealing a little bit of damage along with that. We get the healing only rocket players, right, which take them far too long to build up their ultimate, but if you deal just even a little bit of damage every team fight, you're going to be building up that ultimate far too fast that you outcycle every single other support ultimate in this game, which makes him ridiculously good. And especially since Ultron got nerfed as well in the ultimate department, Rocket Raccoon is the fastest support ult building in the entire game, and not only to mention, he builds it up the easiest as well. So like I said, Rocket Raccoon is just that guy this season. Sticking on the easy theme here, we've got Cloak and Dagger, but that is not the reason why Cloak and Dagger is on this list. There's actually multiple reasons to why Cloak and Dagger's made it to one of the best supports for Season 8.5. And the main one is down to the buff, but not only just the buff, right? So essentially, Cloak and Dagger got a buff to her healing wall, which now allows her to heal way more, which is kind of ridiculous, to be honest. I don't think she actually needed that buff, in my personal opinion. But then she also got a nerf to the direct healing that is hitting your target, right? The one that you're prioritizing. However, they traded this off for a bit more splash healing, which in my opinion is a much better way of using her kit. For 2 reasons, right? So the teammates that are around your main healing priority target is going to get way better splash heals, and against a dive that is super, super strong. But not only that, you benefit from these splash heals as well if you have a teammate next to you. So again, it allows you to survive better in the dive, right? So all in all, Cloak and Dagger got a solid buff against dive heroes with this change, and just better healing output in general by this change, which is very, very strong, might I add. But I do also want to talk about her counters to Cyclops, which she has many. So the first one is her phase, right? The phase directly counters Cyclops' ultimate, which is one of the best and strongest ultimates in the game right now. So she could phase out the way of it, which is obviously very powerful, but we already knew that with Cloak and Dagger and any ultimate counters. But if we talk about Cloak and Dagger's ultimate to counter Cyclops' ultimate, is almost like the perfect support ultimate to counter Cyclops' ultimate. Now, I know I said ultimate a lot of times there, but essentially when Cyclops pops his ult, it goes for about 50 meters, right? It's a very long, on the ground, damage dealing ultimate, and that is exactly what it does. But Cloak and Dagger's ultimate, if you use all 4 of the dashes in a straight line, which is the way it's kind of intended to be used anyway, that literally goes for about 50 meters as well, by the way. So it's the perfect counter in a straight line to save your teammates from that super, super strong ultimate. And then obviously you can follow that up with damage of your own and switch to cloak form and do all that stuff there. But all in all, man, Cloak and Dagger is in a very, very solid spot. Not to mention that you can heal up any of your movement-based teammates. And to be honest with you, I do think we are in what we would like to call a movement meta. I don't think it's particularly a dive meta or particularly a poke meta, but any hero that has decent mobility, and I said this in my DPS video, those are going to be the meta heroes for this season. And it's not necessarily, like I said, a dive or a poke hero. It's just any heroes that have good movement. And the fact that Cloak and Dagger's healing is auto aim or auto tracking or whatever you want to call it, she's also going to be able to heal those teammates a lot better and a lot more frequently. Last but not least, we have Invisible Woman, or Invis, as we all like to call her. Now, Invis is actually in a really good spot. Even though they did nerf this hero slowly and slowly, I think right now she's in a balanced spot. But inside the meta for Season 8.5, I think she fits almost perfectly. Now, the main reason is for her shield wall. The shield wall is so powerful, especially for this coming season, and the fact that a lot of heroes are going to be dealing hit scan damage, like Cyclops for example, and having your support have an extra shield to either block incoming ultimates, incoming damage, projectile damage, not just relying on your tanks to do all that work as well, and allowing or maybe even enabling to play an off tank if needed, is very, very powerful for your support to have. And I think that's such a strong tool to not only save your team, but also save yourself in certain scenarios as well. So that tool alone for Invisible Woman is going to be very, very pivotal for 8.5. But not only that, her healing output is very good. So we all know her healing is very strong. But on top of that, she's got one of the only grounding tools that we have in the game now. Now that Dino has his grounding tool removed, having a support that has some type of grounding to flying heroes is going to be very, very strong. And not only that, it's a kind of dive counter at the same time. But I do think Human Torch is going to be very, very strong this season. So having that ability to ground him again is going to help out a ton. But also, if you have one on your team, having that shield wall to protect him and heal him also is very, very powerful too. Now, that is not all when it comes to Invisible Woman. Her ultimate is probably one of the best support ultimates in the game right now. And the reason for that is because it's got the biggest AoE heals, which you need against a Cyclops ultimate, for example, of course. She can survive through a Cyclops ultimate, or most DPS ultimates, might I add, with her ultimate, which is obviously very strong. But the main reason I think it's super strong is the fact that it can conceal your own DPS ultimates, right? And I'm talking about Human Torch ults, Star-Lord ults, maybe even a Punisher ult. Any of these ultimates that you pop inside of your own Invis ultimate is going to give you so much tremendous value for Season 8.5 because the enemy team doesn't know where it's coming from, and also they're popping it from a safe spot as well. So all of that combined together make Invisible Woman a very solid pick for Season 8.5, and the Invisible Woman mains are going to be happy about that one. But there we have it. Those are the 4 best supports for Season 8.5 of Rivals. If you enjoyed this video and you get more wins, then please leave a comment down below, and thank you very much for watching.